My name is Matt Fox. I'm the VP of Engineering, Product and Engineering here at TopLeft. We're going to start the webinar shortly. All right. Well, let's get started. This is just going to be a quick webinar for people who want to just get a highlight of what the sort of things that we've been building uh, for for engineers lately. And yeah, so I don't think we'll go past the half hour here. I see someone's telling me that chat is disabled. Let me see if I can turn that on. All right, can you try the chat now? Somebody, yes, we got it. All right. Okay. Hey, thanks for waiting. And thanks for joining. For anybody who's just joined, my name is Matt. I'm the VP of Product and Engineering here at TopLeft. And once again, this is going to be a quick webinar. I know that you all have 100 things that you could be doing. So I appreciate your, joining me here for a little bit. And I'll just highlight some of the things that we've done over the last few months, specifically for engineers and technicians, and then let you be on your way to get a little bit more done today. So I'm going to jump right in. Just very brief housekeeping. Okay, use the chat since now I've turned it on. Use the Q&A tool for in the Zoom webinar, Q&A tool for questions that you don't mind if I answer at the end. And then I'll get to those at the end. I will try to keep my eye on the chat as we go along. As always, email help@topleft.team with feedback or anything. Let's jump in. Okay, here's a little bit of what we're gonna do. And at the very end, if you stick around to the very end, I'm gonna show you something that's super secret that we haven't even announced at all because we just started letting people use it like yesterday. So yeah, stick around to the end. We're gonna go through our new UI. If you haven't seen that before, you gotta see that. It's way better than our old experience. I'm gonna go through some of the highlights of the the new UI, like filtering for your own tickets, search, other things. The ability to edit notes and time entries and schedules, user-defined fields, standard notes, configurations, like associating real hardware records with tickets, and then the secret thing, conditional formatting, which I think you like. That is in the new UI. So let's do it. Okay. I want to show you. Oh, and so just if you have no idea that we've been working on a new UI, we have been, and here's why. We wanted to make it faster because the old UI is like it was slow in certain cases. Wanted to make it more kind of just look more modern. And now we're putting all of our new features in there. There's very little work being done on the old UI. And it looks like this. This is the dashboard. If you've never seen this before, you got to turn it on in your own account settings. So that would be, I know it wouldn't look like this for you at the time, but icons are in roughly the same place. Just under your account menu, click account settings. One of these options would be the new UI. You just enable that there. And then you'll see this. You would see it for most of the pages on the site, but for any of the actual Kanban boards, you wouldn't see it yet because you actually have to go and make a new view to get the new experience for the whole board, which you can do if you're an administrator. You can do that under the menu here and then create view. Yeah, so you need to make a new view. I'm doing that, so a little beyond the scope of this webinar, but just to show you a couple of the ways that it's way better than before. If you're an administrator, is to the way that you can filter is kind of one of the main things. Is that you've got we have a really flexible filtering capability that we didn't have before with Boolean logic and negation, like match things that don't or match a certain characteristic. You can say like budget hours. You can say, you want to see tickets here that are where the budget hour is greater than 3. Okay, we got a preview over here, just like which tickets are matching based on what you put in here. You got the number of tickets and whatnot. And so it's way more powerful than our old method of filtering. You can you also have an option here. I won't say the details, but it kind of defines how do you associate people with tickets. Like, is it the owner of the ticket or is it just an assignment of the ticket? Couldn't do that in the old UI, but it's pretty useful in certain cases. Also, you can override the grouping setting. So if you make in our old UI, if you wanted to show the same tickets but grouped in a variety of different ways, like your help desk tickets, and you want to show them grouped by person, by the assigned engineer. Okay, you got to make one board for that. And then if you also want to if you want to see the same tickets, but you want to group them by priority, you got to make a whole nother board for that. So we've done away with that. I'll show you why that's no longer a thing. Also, in the new UI, you can get charts with some metrics about your work, like tracking the number of tickets that show up on this board over the last 30 days, something like that. You can do that. You can also get Gantt views just without any extra configuration. So it's better in a whole bunch of ways. As an example, now just how you would see this. This is how it shows up when you're using it. Like as an engineer, you're going to see your work on a board like this. And yeah, here you go. Here's your Kanban board. This is a board that is not grouping the work at all. It's just showing all the work together. But this is one improvement, is that this is how you override the grouping. If you say, well, I right now I don't want to see them just without any grouping. I do want to group them by the member. This is the ConnectWise version. The Autotask one would have different options here, but substantially the same. So if I want to show them by member, I just change this. I don't need to go and create a new board and maintain it. So I can see this here. I can see tickets that aren't assigned to anybody. I scroll down a little. I can see assigned to Greg Smith. I can see those assigned to James, and on and on. Okay, I can also see it by priority if that's what I want. So I just make this change here. You can also, so we got here like the emergency response tickets, followed by a quick response and so on. You can also search by some text in the title or in, I think even, I don't know about the description, but in a variety of places you can search here. So if I want to know all the tickets that mentioned internet. Okay, internet fails. Okay, so maybe I was looking for that ticket. I didn't know exactly where it was. I knew what was in the title. I can search for it, and I get just this one here. Okay, so search, pre-text search that we never had in the old UI. Also, you can just click mine, and it automatically filters to just my tickets. I'm logged in here as Peter is the name. So here are just tickets that are assigned to Peter. Real easy. The old UI did have something like that, but and so I just wanted to mention that this is, we do have that in the new UI, and it's better. Okay, let's move on to editing records. Okay, so for a long time, as you probably know, we have been able to, you've been able to assign people to tickets, dispatch them, and like assign and put them in, put them in at a certain day and time. On tickets, also add notes and time entries on your tickets, but we haven't offered the way to edit any of that stuff. So if you wanted to edit a note that you just made or time entry, or edit a particular time that you assigned to somebody, you got to go back into your ConnectWise or Autotask or whatever it might be. But that's kind of annoying. So we want you to be able to stay in TopLeft to do that. So actually, I got to find a good example ticket here. So now you can edit things. So this is just really straightforward. If you want to edit something, you can just click edit. You can find the note or the time entry in the list here, click edit. It brings it up over here. You just save it, and it will update that record. Same thing with dispatching. Why don't you let my, if I dispatch myself to this ticket, then I can do that. And if I then and I want to go and edit that, maybe, oh, I put that in at the wrong time. I can just click edit, and I can just drag that. You know what? That's not supposed to be 4 o'clock. That was supposed to be noon. Okay, just drag it there on the screen, or I can change it to a different day if I need to, and I can update that, and it's been updated. So a little bit of a time savings, keep you from having to go back to your ConnectWise or Autotask there. Okay, user-defined fields. We do support user-defined fields in the old UI in a variety of contexts, and we have not that long ago added that to the new UI. So you can use your user-defined fields here in the grouping options. It is just one place. I'll list the places that you can use the user-defined fields. So in the grouping, here's just the priority grouping. But if you have user-defined field for something that's this works best in terms of things where you can make choices. So not where you can type in any free text field. That doesn't really make sense for grouping things. Doesn't really make sense for numeric values, but for something where there's a selection, you know, you're choosing from 2 or 3 or maybe 10 different choices for this user-defined field. It's really good use for grouping. You can show it just as a label on the card. I have an example here, but one of these labels that you might read if you just want to see the value of the UDF there, you can do that. You can also choose it as automatic ordering. So you might be familiar with our automatic ordering feature. By default, you can just drag tickets up and down in the column with total freedom. So you can put them in whatever order you want, but you can also set it up to do automatic ordering where it looks on the data that's in the ticket and uses that to order them. You can use UDFs to do that. That's where it does make good sense to use a numeric value like budget hours or date values. Those are pretty natural for using as automatic ordering, whether it's standard fields or UDFs. And finally, filtering. And this is something that is new in the new UI, is the filtering capability here, where you can actually, I'm going and editing the view now, so I can choose a UDF as one of my filters. And if I guess this, we have one called confidence level, and maybe you want to say greater than, I don't know, 42, whatever 42 is in terms of confidence level. It looks like all I get is one ticket here that's matched. So if I could, anyway, it gives me an idea of what I'm going to get. So pretty useful. If you make good use of UDFs in your PSA, you're probably going to want to use those here in TopLeft. Okay, standard notes. Let me just go back to my board here and I'll show you where you can find the standard notes. This is something that has been asked for quite some time. So this is to help engineers as they're making notes and time entries. You can come over here onto the time and notes tab, click apply a standard note, and here is, it'll just dump this into your field for you. There you go. I imagine that one standard note that everybody has is a request for more information, and obviously you can have as many as you want. Just for how it works, it actually works a little bit different depending on if your PSA is ConnectWise or Autotask or Halo. So for ConnectWise and ConnectWise and Halo, the standard notes are available in their APIs. So that's what we use here. This will match, like the list of notes available here will match what you already have in your PSA by virtue of we can fetch it from their API. Autotask, not so lucky. It is not in the API there, so can't fetch it. So we have set up an editor in, actually, this is probably worth showing. Let's see, yeah, it's called form templates in Autotask. So you'd come to your settings page here, click all settings, then you'll see form templates. And here is where you can add or edit edit a template. So we have our kind of our own more information, please template here that is not shared with Autotask because there's not a way to do that. It is a little more flexible though, because the feature in Autotask is actually a lot more powerful than it is in some of the other PSAs, despite not being offered in the API. So you can set it up to not just be text that you toss into the text field, but to give titles to your notes, set up roles, change the ticket status once you've entered the note or time entry, and a whole bunch of other things showing on invoice. And even time works because that is part of the feature in Autotask. Okay, moving on here. Okay, configurations. Once more, something that's been asked for quite some time. This is for where you have a ticket. It's about some particular device, a desktop or a server or something. And so, the PSA offers you the ability to associate that particular configuration with a ticket. And now we do that as well. So, and you can actually attach a configuration to a ticket here in TopLeft. We're not just showing you what already exists in your PSA data. You can, if you want to associate a new, well, not a new, but an existing configuration with a ticket, you can do this here. I see as long as and you can search for your configurations. And by the way, the different PSAs call them different things. So I'm using kind of ConnectWise terminology here, configurations, but Autotask calls them, I think, devices, or they've had different terms over the years, but I think what they call them now is devices, and Halo calls them assets. So I can just click attach for this configuration here, and all of a sudden it's attached. And then I can see it here. I can open this link. This button would allow me to open ConnectWise straight to this configuration. And we don't have it configured here in our demo environments, but if you have links to your RMM or your actual like screen sharing tool that's configured in your PSA, then links for that will appear here too. So I just don't have it set up, but presumably that would be set up in your PSA, and without any further configuration on your side between like TopLeft, those links should just appear. So that you can get one click into screen sharing to that device that the ticket is about. So we're very pleased to be able to offer that. I think that should make things faster for you and your techs. Okay, finally, here's the secret part. Thanks for staying with me here until the last thing. I'm going to tell you about conditional formatting, which we have just introduced this week. It is by request. So if you want to use this, I would need to turn it on in your environment. I'm happy to do that. You just need to ask. And it lets you do things like this, where you can set up your own rules. So you decide what's important to you, what sort of tickets are important to you, and then you can change the appearance of the card on the Kanban board in order to attract some sort of attention to special tickets. Now, you can have any number of rules. It's very, very flexible. So I'm showing you here an example like this. This is one where I think it's just a service ticket, and then this one is a project. Sorry, I'm right. Not right. This one is looking at overdue tickets. So by default, we'll show the overdue cards just with the red label here. But if that's not okay with you and you want to really highlight the cards that are overdue, then you can give say, okay, ticket set up a condition to say I'm matching on tickets that are the due date is in the past, and then I want to give it a red background. That's just one example. There's the sky's the limit, really, and this conditional formatting feature is a lot better than the old one that we had in the old UI for a few reasons. One is that it works for any type of board. So it works for the old one only worked for ConnectWise, and it only worked for tickets. Okay, we never even supported it for Autotask at all. So this one works for Autotask, it works for Halo, ConnectWise obviously, and it works for projects or tickets or tasks or whatever it might be. It also works, let me show you. It also works for there's additional formatting options compared to the old version. So if I want to see, I'll show you how it works here. Under settings, I just go conditional formatting. That's the option. You won't see it unless you ask for access. So here I can add a format. First, it asks you what type of view it is, because you will have different options available, whether it's a ticket or a project board that you're going to work on. So I'm going to make ticket ones. Now here we have this query editor again, just like we had before for setting up the views, and like which tickets do you want to see in a view. We got basically the same thing here. I can say I want to highlight tickets that have no budget. So I can say budget hours is null. And then I can decide which of these options I want to apply. I can do all of them. So I can set a background color. I can set just the color of the left bar on the card. I can give it an outline. I can give it a ribbon here. So that's just kind of the corner of the card here. Let me go back. And show you where that. So that would be this little corner here. This one is kind of highlighted because it's got an error, but I can override that. I can choose an icon that I want. I don't know, maybe I like the pin and I like it to be really bright green, I guess. It's called spring. By the way, we also support dark mode, so you can choose a color for dark mode. And I can give it a label. What did I say? Oh. Okay. I can also, we call this suppress labels. That would mean some of the labels that appear on the card like this, where it says like how the contact, we can say like maybe when you match this, we don't want it to show up. We don't want that label to show up. One would be like the due date. For example, maybe if it was in the done column, we don't want to show the due date. That's not relevant anymore. So you can say, you can make a profile that says suppress the due date label and only apply that to the done column. And then you save a little bit of space there. You can see a little bit more on the board. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, so I've made my format there, and let's see. There's one more step. I do need to say this view uses that format. Okay, there we go. It worked. So here, oh wait, this one, the label worked, but this didn't. Maybe that's because they're all warnings. Yeah, I got an awful lot of warnings here. Okay, so maybe it's not overriding because we are using the no, not overriding this corner one because they are all warnings. But anyway, you do see the label there, and so it's just one example of how easy it is to set up a style profile. By the way, if you want to, yeah, you can set it up so that you have different profiles for different columns. So, because it could be that, for example, if a ticket has no budget, it could be that when a ticket is brand new, it comes in, it's in your triage column. It's okay if it has no budget, but once it gets into somebody's ready column and it's supposed to have a budget, and it doesn't, that's a problem. So you can highlight that, but only in the appropriate columns. And you can do that just by in your workflow editor here. Just say I want to choose a specific view format here instead of the one that's set up for the whole view. All right, that brings us to the end of what I had planned. We'll take any questions now. Appreciate you sticking with me to the end here. You can use whatever you want, chat or the Q&A tool. And if you want a more detailed demo of any of these things, or you just want a chance to chat about them and ask questions, I'm happy to do that with you. Just email me, matt@topleft.team. I'll send you my booking link, and you can put a meeting in my calendar. I love to do that. Um, Otherwise, I will stick around for a couple of minutes to hear any chat questions in either the chat tool or the Q&A tool. And if you don't have any questions, then I hope you have a great day. Makisha asks, is it recorded? Yeah. Yep, we always record our webinar. It'll end up on the YouTube channel sometime. I'm not sure exactly when. And generally, we do send out a link for those who have registered. Whether or not you attended or not, we'll send out the link for that when the recording's ready. And obviously, if you're here asking the question, you don't probably need to see the recording, but maybe you want to send it on to one of your colleagues who would find it useful. So you'll be able to do that. Okay, well, looks like there's no more questions. So I will let you go on with your day. We made it just under the scheduled time, half an hour. Okay, folks, really appreciate it. Thanks for using TopLeft. Have a great day.